Yo 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 yo. What's going on, everybody, man? Happy what day it is? It's Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody, man. Friday is almost here. Almost here. We are almost Friday. Know a lot of us get paid on Friday. Just got paid Friday night. Party humping, feeling right. I don't know about that old Johnny Kemp, man. I don't know about that Johnny Kemp, man. I'm gonna give Big Low and Uncle Steve a run for their money, man. Think they the only singers around here, man. I can sing. Nah, but what's going on, y'all? Welcome in. Friends and family, man. I appreciate y'all coming in. Make sure you do smash that like button for your dog as well. Thank you in advance for doing that. Your boy, my boy, our boy, Terry Fontenot had his press conference today. He addressed the media. We hadn't heard from old Uncle Terry, and heard from old Uncle Terry in a minute, man. But like we talked about last time, that's typical for the Falcons. You don't normally hear from the general manager with the Falcons until football stops. Then the general manager, he'll come and start talking in public, like Terry did. The Metro offense the same way. Maybe that's not even a Falcons thing. Maybe that's just a NFL type thing. Unless you have a unique situation like maybe a Jerry Jones or a situation like a Bill Belichick where guys are serving multiple roles. But I'm gonna only speak for the Falcons because I follow these guys pretty intently, and I don't really know how nobody else runs their business around the league. But I know with the Atlanta Falcons, you normally hear from the head coach during the season, exclusively, for the most part. Then after the season, that's when the general manager, they come out and they start politicking. And today was Terry Fontenot's first time politicking, And I've been telling y'all, I don't watch a whole lot of Falcons press conferences. Not saying that I don't watch them at all, but I'm like, if I watch them, I watch them. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. Unless it's something I just want to really do some content on, And then normally y'all will tell me that, hey, man, you need to go check this out, or did you see this? Did you see this? Then I go back and watch it. But again, because you don't hear from Mr. Fontenot as often as you do from any other head coach, or specifically Raheem Morris, I wanted to hear what Mr. Fontenot had to say. Yeah, so what I really would like to do is I would like to watch this together as a group. We stop and we talk through it. Y'all don't mind. So before we do that, let me hop in the chat real quick. We got a dog coach in the house. Shout out to our brother coach. What's happening, coach, man? I hope your day going well today, brother. It's crazy how people push their own narrative, because he said yet again that they got Kirk because they wasn't sure they would get another quarterback. You're absolutely right. And I think that's not the first time I think Terry has said that. I think when they got Penix and they had their big explanation press conference, which was funny. I kind of remember them saying something of that nature too, that we wasn't sure that he would be there at 8, if I remember correctly. But I do remember them speaking on that. They wasn't sure that he would be there. And maybe it wasn't Terry who said that. Maybe it was Raheem. But I do remember somebody saying something of that nature. Could have been Mr. Blake, because I think he spoke on it also. Coach said, whoever asked the question about Cool, the MVP, that was a great question that Terry kind of danced around. So we'll make sure to stop and talk about that once we get there. Strapped Up is in is out, strapped up 24. What's going on, my guy? Says they need to make a decision on Jimmy Lake already. I do think, and not trying to get too far ahead, but I recall, Terry said they do like a 360. I think he said, where they evaluate players and I guess coaches too, the staff, and make decisions accordingly based on that. If I was a betting man, which I am sometimes, I don't bet hardcore. I'm not like y'all who be on Prize Picks all day talking about your parlays. Man, I be seeing people who don't even know nothing about NFL be talking about parlays and Prize Picks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not a big time better, but you know, I'll throw some bets out there too now. But if I was a betting person, if I had to bet on it, I would probably bet that Jimmy Lake will probably not be retained, fired, let go, dismissed, relieved of his duties. Because one thing, when you have a disappointing season in this league, you normally got to have a scapegoat. Somebody always has to be the scapegoat. And Jimmy Lake seems like the ideal candidate to be a good scapegoat. So I don't think he's out of clear just yet. I don't think he's out of clear. Wouldn't be surprised if he's out of here. We got a guy, Antoine Wartime, in the house. What's going on, Antoine? Shout out to the 478. We in this thing, Antoine. Folks, big 478 energy in here today. Shout out to the whole middle Georgia. Wartime, MacTime, Kathleen, Forsyth, Perry, Unadilla, the whole 478. He says 478 in here. Let's go, family. Falcons for life. ABG. Shout out to that entire Atlanta Bird gang as well. You know, especially everybody that hold it down in the Facebook group also. King Richie is in the house. What's going on with King Richie? How you doing today, brother? Hope your day is going grand, my guy. Appreciate you always coming in. Got the homie in the house. Cool ass Dre with the cool ass name. What it do? Let's go. 2020 Falcons. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it. 82 Monte Carlo, riding and swerving. You know what I'm saying? Riding and swerving on the swangers, like they say in Texas. Riding on those swangers. You know, hopping in the slab, bending corners. Shout out to everybody in Texas, man. Says Terry still my dog. That my dog. That my dog. Strapdo says Terry was answering those questions like a politician. Well, due to the delicacy of the situation at hand, you know, we have to be very meticulous in how we approach things and you know, the type of people, personalities that we encounter and also bring into our environment. That's my politician impersonation. Shadrin in the house. What's going on, Shadrin? What's up, Toddy? I'm sick of the same talk from the franchise. I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. And you know what? The only thing that's gonna really change it, man, that will make it sound better or even come out of their mouths better is they got to start winning. That's the only thing. That's the only thing, because everything gonna sound obtuse that they say as long as they win. Everything is gonna be absurd, obtuse, and it's gonna have a taste of despicable. Everything they say, because they keep losing. You know, and losing tastes terrible. You know, I never heard nobody say, hey, man, losing tastes great. No, it tastes terrible. So you got to win. That's really the only thing that's going to change it. Strap us, and make sure to hit that like button. Please do hit that like button, man. That really helps this channel out a lot. Thank you in advance. I do appreciate it. Chrissy Lewis is in the building as usual. It says happy Thursday to you also, Chris. I hope you are doing splendid. Appreciate you coming through as always. Another PR is in the building. It says lots of MIA Cooper. I hope or either Mia Cooper. I hope I said that right. But not a single direct answers to the questions. Oh, we're gonna get to that also in the PR. We are going to get to that also, and I appreciate you coming in also, man. Hope your day going good. Have a good weekend. Also, Dexter says Toddy gonna be a member of Southern City. Man, they just don't know, man. I remember back in the day. Rest in peace. Luther Vandross asked me to do a duet album with him. I said no, Luther. That shit might fuck up my voice, man. But I appreciate the invitation, man. You know, let's just, you know, I appreciate it. They just don't know. 3 Dirty, what's going on, my guy? Yo. Good job last night. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you watching last night, man. Shout out to also the iTest. Always have a great show on. You know, had another marathon last night, man. It was like 4+ hours. A lot of good conversation on there as well. You know, so shout out to the gentleman that run the iTest. If you're not subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. I be getting social media platforms mixed up sometimes. But if you're not subscribed to the iTest, make sure that you do subscribe. Shout out to John Harris and shout out also to Winston Thornton. Also, my brothers there. Chris says, right, Terry and Greg did the press conferences last year. This time through the draft. Yeah, Greg Beatles. Greg Beatles seemed like he came out of nowhere also, too. Seemed like he just popped up out of nowhere like, I'm here. I'm a member of the crew, just came out of nowhere. I was just so used to seeing Arthur and Mr. McKay. Started just calling him Mr. McKay. Miss Lisa in the house. Shout out to you, Lisa. Appreciate you always coming in and always supporting. Thank you very much for checking in. I missed the presser. So looking forward to y'all's comments on, okay, so that's going to be good for you. We're about to check it out. We're about to watch it again. Daniel Berry in the house as usual. What's up, Daniel? Good afternoon to you as well, my friend. I always appreciate you coming in here. Lisa said, how many yo's you be doing, Toddy? Is it a set number? It's not a set number at all. It's definitely not a set number. Sometimes I just do it until I guess in my brain, I think I've done it enough. But there's no set number, you know? There's no set number. I just yo. Yeah, it'd be no set number at all. Sometimes I do it till I get my music, my background music going on. If I didn't prep it up, sometimes I just have to lean on them yo's a little longer than normal. So I like, man, let me get my music ready. Yo. So you know, but no, it's no set number. Terry says, my bad. King Richard says Terry took accountability. That's all I care about. Yeah, he did. He did take accountability. He pretty much said, hey, it's all on me. And we're going to watch it, you know, because Lisa says she has seen it. So I won't ruin it for those who haven't seen it yet. We got our brother RJ Falcon, 242 in the house. The big homie, happy new year. Blessings to you and your family. Likewise, RJ, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the kind words. Also appreciate you always coming through. Happy New Year's to you and your family as well. Wish you the very best blessings and prosperity to you and yours, my brother. Krista says y'all got to go back and re-listen to the press conference with the transcripts. The admin's press conferences tells you how they operate and who is responsible for various roles. All right, Krista, please explain to me what you mean when you say with the transcripts. Let me know what you mean about it. Explain that to me if you don't mind, and also somebody like me who don't fully understand what you mean because it sounds interesting. So if you don't mind, break that down for us, please, because I'm very interested in what that means. Rusty Moore in the building. What's going on with you, Russ? I hope you're doing good today, my guy. Because I like Terry. His 2nd through 7th round picks are doo-doo, but free agency hits are good and doesn't BS much. I'm not on the fire Terry train, but I believe him and Raheem are tied now, which are tied. I think it means tied together now. When one goes, so does the other, in my opinion. That's a great comment. Great comment. And I'm actually going to say my opinion on whether I think Terry should be fired or not. My opinion may surprise some of y'all, but I'm going to save it. But that is a good comment there from Rusted. Got our brother James Holloway in the building. Speaking of a good show last night and also the eye test, we had James on the show also last night as well. Always good to have you in here, James. Appreciate you coming through as usual, my friend. Chris says Terry could not say a lot because of the upcoming deadlines for Kirk contract, especially the March. That's going to be a big date. That's going to be a big date. A lot of stuff going to be happening around that time. Strap, this is Terry sounded pissed off and talking about the season. I don't blame him. It really was a failure at the end of the day. I could try to dress it up and put some politics on it, but it was a failure. It was definitely a failure of a season. So I definitely understand where he coming from. Definitely understand where he coming from. We got a super chat in here from our brother Greg. Thank you as always, Greg, man. I always definitely appreciate the support and love you always show the show and the platform. Thank you again. Y'all make sure to check out Greg with Greg Custom Kicks as well. I'm gonna start bringing my shoes also so I can show them whenever I talk about it, man. But you want some custom sneakers, especially some Falcons custom sneakers, that's the guy you need to see. He's done work for me. He's done 2 pairs for Uncle Steve. Done a lot of other work that you need to check him out on all his social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. You can see his work. Also has done work for the legendary group Goody Mob, that they have worn out the public appearances. So again, custom sneakers, that's your guy. See Greg, let him know your vision, or in my case, hey man, just do your thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just do your thing. He'll use his talent and freelancing, and man, he will make you a gem. He said someone begged me for your info, trying to buy your shoes, man. I'm a bang on their ass. My shoes ain't for sale. I told him that it's cheaper to get your own custom. He will not sell them to you. Exactly. Absolutely right. I said it before I even read the rest of your comment. Yeah, my shoes ain't for sale, man. I hadn't even worn my shoes outside the house. My shoes still back there in the room back there in the box. No, I'm gonna buy me some for the 2025 season. I'll probably wear those like the games, the Falcons games and stuff like that. But no, not at all. Not at all. I'm gonna put my shoes in the glass case. My shoes are not for sale. They ain't for sale. And like you said, it's just better to go through Greg and get your own customs. You know what I mean? Let's see here. But again, thank you, Greg, man. I always do appreciate you, man. Let me see what it says. Chris Lewis says, Ty, do you have a good politician for us? Oh, let me rate it. Y'all, I think in other words, Chris is, hey man, you a pretty good bullshitter. No, I just playing. I just mess with you, Chris. But thank you. I do appreciate that. We got Kenneth in the house. Kenneth Kellett says season ticket holders have made a statement, and Fontenot and Harris are done. I think you mean Morris. Are done. Trust the process no longer gets it. It's up to how much money does blank plan on losing. Whoa. Banging on the front office. But I will say this, kid. I think I gotta disagree with you because anything can happen at this point. Nothing is 100%. But I really think if you are saying, when you say they're done, if you're saying they're gonna be fired, I strongly believe if they were gonna be fired, Arthur Blank would have fired him by now. He definitely wouldn't let Terry Fontenot get up there and talk on behalf of the franchise just to come back and fire him. Not at all. And I don't think we'd have heard from Raheem Morris on Monday either. after the game. He would just let him go. And just like when he fired Arthur Smith, man, he fired him as soon as the plane landed. All right, bro, you can go ahead and pack your shit. Fire him like midnight. I was saying the other day, I was on the live stream doing a post game show when they fired. Well, when Arthur fired Arthur Smith, and people that was in the comment section like, hey man, they just fired him, and I was just sitting here yapping, running my mouth, and people's calling me on the phone. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna be fired. Not this off season. Next off season may be a different story for both of them. Jada in the house, what's going on with you, Jada? Appreciate you coming in as always. So why is it Jimmy Lake fired? That's a good question. That's a valid question. I can't front. That's a valid question. The same old Falcons. That's all I ask for is Jimmy Lake being fired. Raheem and Fontenot said we're still evaluating everything. How long did it say? Yeah, they say they're still evaluating it, man. But again, I don't know how long you've been here, but I think they're still gonna get rid of Jimmy Lake. Somebody got to be the fall guy, man. And I think he gonna end up being a fall guy. And I'm not saying the way the season played out, the way the defense played out, it is not deserving. But you can't have just an utterly bad season and then not anybody be the fall guy. You don't make some kind of changes on the coaching staff. So I think he'll be out of here. Keys to Ellis says duet album. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I say rest in peace, Luther. But man, I say, hey, man, that stuff might mess up my voice, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you need a stronger, more powerful, better voice. With all due respect, Luther, because I respect you and your voice and all the work you done did. But like, man, that might mess up my voice, bro. So I appreciate it. Hey, thank you. Yeah, but you might got to find somebody else to do that for you, bro. Because I ain't trying to mess up my voice. Not at all. Not at all. I know. Chris said, how could you turn Luther down? I value my relationship with Luther. Again, rest in peace. But I just value my voice, a lot more. It wasn't an easy thing to do. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't an easy thing to do, but these vocal cords are priceless, and I didn't want to compromise them. So sadly I had to turn him down, and he still went on, and as y'all see, had a legendary career. Won a bunch of awards, a bunch of accolades. A lot of human beings were conceived from his music. So his legacy is still out there, but it just wasn't the right thing for me. It wasn't the right thing. Jada says promote Jerry Gray to DC or hire Steve Wilkes. Raheem is all about saving his friend's job. I've seen a lot of people say Steve Wilkes. Really, if they do fire, my bad, y'all. Lost my train of thought. I was looking at something out the window. If they do fire, Jimmy Lake, Jimmy Lake. Me personally, it's like I don't really have a big opinion on who they hire. I say it all the time. I'm not as opinionated with the hiring process of coaches. As probably I maybe should be as a fan. I'm very opinionated, like when it comes to player personnel, but with the coaches, I'll be like, okay, whoever you get, hey, let's go. Let's see what kind of job you're gonna do. Because whoever they hire, I'm gonna support you till I don't support you no more. That's how I always been. I'm gonna support you till I don't support you no more. Mike Smith, Jim Moore Jr., Dan Reeves, June Jones. The list goes on and on and on, So I'm with you until I'm no longer with you. Jada says 49ers already offered Robert Saleh a defensive job. That's probably an ideal spot for him too, out there. Lisa tied up sounded like a hit dog banging on me. Dang, Lisa. always been there. We got our brother, Mr. CDX for life in the house. What's up, Tidy ABG chat? Hey, how's it going today, bro? Good afternoon. You know, as we on the brink of the weekend, but unfortunately, there won't be no Falcons football this Sunday. No Georgia Bulldog football neither, bro. So, you know, about time for me to find a new hobby to occupy my sports time, you know. Georgia, Texas boy in the house. What's happening, man? What it do, Bird Gang and Falcons family? What's going on, Georgia, Texas boy? Thank you for coming in. Ghost Peppers in the building. What's up, Ghost? Appreciate you always coming in, man. What's good, Tight End Falcons family? You know what, Ghost? I was in Kroger the other night, and I thought about you. I was walking through the what they call the international aisle, and I seen some ghost peppers. I said, man, is that what Ghost got that name from? Ghost Peppers, you know, that you know, come on, that be in the chat in the show sometimes. And I see you, you know, in other content creators chats too, of course. And I read like the peppers, and they supposed to be like real spicy and hot peppers. But I don't know. I just happened to see the peppers, and it made me think about you also. But thank you for coming in today, bro. I do always appreciate it. We got our brother DB94 in the building. My God, DB, how we doing today, brother? How's it going? Just now tune in, try to do your thing. Thank you as always for coming in, my friend. I do always appreciate you, man. Hope you have a great evening or had a great day as well. Kenneth says, absolutely wrong. Accountability is resigning after 29 wins and 39 loss records. Bullshit. Remind me of that meme, that bullshit. I feel you though, Kenneth. I feel you, man. Like, you know, I can understand everybody's frustration with the Falcons, you know. And I think as time passes by, like we all do, you know, we eventually get over it. And by the time the combine and the draft gets here, hey man, we get pumped up, you know, we get our positivity cap back on, and we go into the next year hoping for the best for our team. Georgia Texas boy Terry Fontenot said what needed to be said without giving out the future plans for his team. Yeah, and that's what a GM's supposed to do. Say what needed to be said, but hey, I'm not gonna give you no secrets, or I'm not gonna let you know what we plan on doing. Mr. CDX for license question: was that Nelson defense players? What do you mean by that, Mr. CDX for life? I might have missed something in your question, but explain that to me so I can properly answer you. Georgia Texas Bulls Rob first go around in Tampa Bay. He was not set up to win at all. Not at all. Not at all. You know, that's some of the reasons I don't hold his past record against him. You know, if we being technical, Bill Belichick, then he didn't do good his first stint as a coach. You know, until he got his first stint as a coach, it did not turn around until he got to New England and Tom Brady got on the field. You know, that he really went out of there, you know, when Brady got on the field. Georgia Texas boy said he only got that job because Pittsburgh hired Tomlin away to be the head coach. Are you talking about Raheem Morris? B Falcons Nation. B Falcons national fan. What's going on? Says I think that Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot's job should be safe at least another 2 seasons. All right, so B Falcons being generous, y'all. Unless they finish 4-13 or something like that next year. They did nail the Michael Penix pick appears. That's a great comment. Great perspective as well. And I'm with you on that 4-13. You go 4-13, yeah, you got to get out of here at that point. Like if they if they'd went 4-13 this year, y'all would not hear me defending Raheem. You know, you go 4-13, you know, you go 3-14, you know, hey, yeah, let's move something. It's time for you to go. You don't deserve a second chance. You know, I ain't saying our roster all that, because I think to an extent as a fan base, we do overrate the roster, just being honest. But it ain't that bad either. You know, you go at 4-13, you gotta get out of here, bro. You got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. Jordan Texas was when he took over in 2020. This team was on 5, finished 4-3. Okay, you talking about Raheem's first stint here when he filled in for Mr. Dan Quinn, who's now in Washington doing his thing. Crystal says some of the Falcons press conferences show you word for word what's said in a closed caption on YouTube and can be printed. Saying exactly what it said, like the media posted today, becomes a good reference. I did not know that. I did not know that. I know you can turn closed caption on your settings on your YouTube, but I didn't know about like the transcript part of that. I had no idea about that. Thank you for the information. 82 Monte Carlo says they won't fail next season. If y'all think we're getting a new regime again, you're tweaking. Them guys that want to be in the employment line anyway, picture if it was you in their shoes. He also says 63. Terry made a great signing. Georgia Texas boy says we are in a better situation than we were in 2015. I can see that. Marco Russian, what's going on? We passed with Jamar Chase and drafted Kyle Pitts. Passed on TJ Watt and drafted Takk McKinley. Sad to say we got to do better with scouting process of these players, no matter who is picking. That's a fair statement. That's a definitely a fair statement. Although Jamar Chase, Jamar Chase is an amazing talent, man. Amazing talent. I mean, a super, super amazing talent. I don't think he would have been the right pick for Atlanta because he would have been lost. He would have been caught in the same shuffle of not having a reliable quarterback. Still playing for Atlanta. I think the right pick in hindsight for us would have been Penei Sewell. I think that would have been the right pick in hindsight for Atlanta. Penei Sewell. Fortunately for him, Chase was able to play with somebody that he's already got developed chemistry with, and Joe Burrow, who's elite level talent quarterback. So he ended up in a perfect opportunity as a wide receiver. But yeah, y'all definitely please keep the comments going, y'all. Please keep the comments going. Greg says I'm not really of the term of trust the process, more of understanding the process. That's a damn good point, man. A team takes time to get on track. Detroit at one point was one of the worst franchises going 0-16. They got it right. Exactly. Greg, I referenced that a lot, man. Like, people talk about Detroit and Dan Campbell, like they hired him and then the next year they won 12 or 13 games. No, it took a minute. No, Dan Campbell got criticized. He got ridiculed. He got laughed at. Fingers got pointed at him. Even in the Detroit press, they were talking about firing him going into 2022. And exactly what happened is they were patient with him. The Detroit ownership, and now they're a Super Bowl contender. So we'll see if they can get that elusive Super Bowl. But you make an excellent point. So, but yeah, please keep the comments going, y'all. Let's go ahead and watch this press conference and talk about that together, y'all. So give me a second. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Where is it at? There it is. I think is that it? Well, I guess that is it. I'm not used to the Falcons using let me see if I can blow this up. Okay, yeah, that is it. All right, so let's talk about the the press conference here together, y'all. Discuss it. Let me turn this background music down a little bit. That way we can hear what Mr. Fontenot has to say in all his glory. Let's go.
How's everybody doing? All right.
Ready? You're queuing some up back there. You ready? That's all good? All right. Good. All right. So first of all, appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate y'all taking the time. I'll start out by saying how disappointed we are in the result of the season. A lot of people put a lot of work into this, from the players, the coaches, the entire staff, everybody in the building. A lot of people put in a lot of work, and so when this is what the result is, nobody's happy about that. Most importantly, we're disappointed for our fans. We know all the support that they give us, and we know you deserve better. It's our job to get right into this offseason process and look at every aspect of everything that affects football, and make sure we're doing everything we can do this offseason to put us in position next year to win more football games and putting this team in position to be a consistent winner. We understand at this point the words don't mean anything. We have to speak with our results, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. You starting off on the right foot, Terry. When you say the words don't mean anything, it's all about results. And at least you at this point, at least I guess for lack of better words on my part, you are reading the room when it comes to the fan base, which I know you are talking to reporters, but I think mainly you're really talking to the fan base and using the reporters as an outlet or a medium. And I'm very glad to know that you are at least reading the room. The words are not gonna mean a lot to us at this point. It's time to start winning. 7 straight losing seasons, that's a lot to endure for a fan base who hasn't had an opportunity to watch this team in the playoff game in a long time. So, I will give you a point on that.
That said, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, Terry. What is, as y'all move forward, how important will it be to resolve Kirk Cousins' status with the team with the leg switch at the position in the season?
Yes. So, when we gave Kirk Cousins 2 years guaranteed. So when you do that, you expect to get high-level quarterback play for 2 seasons. We understand that didn't happen. Nobody's was happy to make the switch at that time, and we wanted to again to get that high-level quarterback play for 2 seasons. So now what happens is we had to accelerate that plan and go to Mike earlier, and yet we're the allocation at the quarterback position, the cap allocation is we're 8th in the league. That's what we had planned for. Where Kirk is the starter, he's not the starter anymore, but we're very comfortable moving forward with him as a backup. He's handled himself extremely well.
He says we're very comfortable moving forward with him as the backup. I saw that quote, and I say this respectfully, being recycled all online in the Falcon community after he said that. That was probably the most repeated quote from today's press conference.
Through the entire process from start to finish, from when he came in the building. And, in these adverse situations, that's when you show your true character. Kirk's a great man, and he's been great support for Mike, a great teammate, great support for everybody in the building. So we're very comfortable moving forward with him as the backup.
We're very comfortable moving forward with him as the backup. And then, he showered Kirk's praises. And I've said this before, man. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work with Kirk Cousins, man. I really like Kirk a lot. I like how he attached himself to the franchise, attached himself to the fan base. There hadn't been a whole lot to cheer for with this team in quite a long time, unfortunately. But I will say this. When we went on that streak, when we started winning, we were 6-3 for the first time in a long time. Man, it was fun. It didn't last long, but that was the first time in a long time where it was fun just being a Falcons fan. And I'll give Kirk Cousins a great deal of credit for that. Just like, we tend to give him or the quarterback position a great deal of criticism when the team doesn't play well. He was out there playing lights out during one point in the season. Um, you had the whole swag surfing thing going on, and it was just fun. It was fun to see him, um, entrenched, into, the Atlanta culture, the stuff that we do in the stadium. We've been swag surfing for a long, long time. Don't let the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift fool you. Swag surfing was started in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was started in the Georgia Dome for NFL fan bases. We are the originators of that, and everybody, I can say everybody, a lot of other stadiums and fan bases follow the league, and that's cool. But it was fun to see Kirk, kind of revive that on some, hey man, we started this, this is our thing. And it was cool, it was fun. Listen to him, do his press conferences and talk his shit, walk into your trap, take over your trap. Shout out to Bankroll Fresh. That's something that was started from the late great Bankroll Fresh, from Atlanta, Georgia. Zone 3 and stuff like that. It just made it fun. And being a Falcons fan hadn't been fun like that in a long, long, long time. And even when you hear Kirk doing his interviews before the season started, you could just tell, like, hey man, that's a real down to earth guy. He real relatable. He just real cool. He just had a lot of personality. Kirk had a lot of personality that made him a real likable person. How can I say this without upsetting certain parts of the Falcons fan base? Personality wise, and I know this is a very, very short resume that I'm judging, but personality wise and also being lock and key with the fan base, I don't know if Matt Ryan was able to capture that in 14 years. I don't know if the great Michael Vick, and how he just came here and revolutionized Atlanta pro football and the movement he had. I don't know if he was even able to do that. Matt had a personality, but it was like Vic had a personality, but it was like Kurt was like, no man, we taking over traps in the A. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get our head swag serve, y'all see me in the streets. I'm gonna take these pictures with y'all. I'm out at Kroger, I'm out at Publix, I'm at Home Depot. I'm gonna do an interview in front of the Waffle House, the most Atlanta shit some of the most Atlanta shit in Atlanta, the Waffle House. Shout out to the Waffle House. So much of an Atlanta staple that here on this channel we created a show based around it. You know what I mean? So, I salute Kirk for that, man. I don't really have nothing bad to say about Kirk Cousins, man. I think Kirk came in here and he gave it everything he could. And unfortunately for him, unfortunately for us, it just didn't work. So shout out to Kirk Cousins for that, man. And also shout out to my guy, Atlanta, Georgia Faithful in the building. Y'all make sure to check him out also on YouTube as well. If you're not subscribed to his channel, make sure you do go over there and show him a bunch of love and subscribe to the channel. He puts out some great Atlanta Falcons content. I appreciate you coming in, bro. Georgia, Texas boy says Bijan is better than Gibbs. Ghost Pepper says Toddy. I agree. I think Panay Sewell should have been a pick. I like the addition of Bergeron, but he's no Sewell. Definitely no Sewell. I know I'm being premature, but I think Panay Sewell is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when it all said and done. If he remains injury free, I knock on wood on it. Also, got our brother Tonio in the house. What's up, Tonio? Antonio was also on the panel last night with us as well. He says, "What's good, Toddy Fontenot?" Said absolutely nothing, but did take some accountability. Yes, he did, and we're gonna get into that also. Mr. Carl Thomas in the building. This is a trash as head coach. But let's keep going.
So this is different from when Matt Ryan wanted to leave after the Deshaun Watson deal. Because Kirk said he thinks he didn't forget how to play quarterback.
Well, every situation's different. Not to rehash anything else, but specifically regarding Kirk, again, we're very comfortable moving forward with him as the backup.
Does he want to be a backup?
Let me repeat: we're very comfortable moving on with him with the backup. I'm gonna say this. I think he's saying that because you don't really, in a sense, have a choice when it all is broken down. Like, the money is guaranteed. So, in a sense, since the money is already accounted for, it, in a sense, you better, be prepared to be comfortable with paying him to be the backup, because you really don't have a choice. And also, in another sense, think that's him being a good GM in a sense. Like, look, hey, I'm trying to drive his stock up, for a potential trade partner. So I'm not gonna come out here and make a scene like, oh man, we don't want Kirk, man. Oh, he trash or not. No, he gonna, man, like, no, we comfortable with him being a backup, man. Like, yeah. Don't think we're gonna just release him or cut him. No, y'all better call yourself on it and put your trade offers in. So he's doing what he should do as a general manager in terms of that, in my opinion. Let's keep going.
Has he made that clear to you?
Those are, all those discussions. We'll keep those discussions private as we move forward. But I just want to be clear that we're very comfortable with him being the backup here.
Once again, I just want to make it clear to all y'all other teams, general managers that are listening, we are very comfortable with, moving on, with him as a backup here. We good.
Open to trading him if calls come.
We'll take those things as they come. Now that's a specific, with that mark, everyone would have to be good with it, right? From his camp, his supporters, Mike McCartney, Kirk Cousins, us, the other team. Like, there's a lot of layers to that.
In other words, he has a no trade clause, so he does have some say so in that matter.
And we'll take those as they come.
We would be open to adjusting that no trade clause, like if that's something you wanted.
Well, that's, again, those, Allison, private discussions that we'll have as they come.
Do you regret maybe?
Meaning, we've already discussed that, but we won't tell you, to what extent we've discussed it or what has been said in those discussions.
Making a big decision and move like this when it came to Kirk Cousins and the contract and everything. What did you learn from that?
Yeah, we look at every transaction that we make, and we're always looking to learn and adjust the process as we go. If you go back to at that point, the reasons we made the decision, we know the cost of doing business at the quarterback position. But like we said, Allison, you want to get high-level quarterback play for 2 seasons, and we didn't get that, and so we totally understand that.
Terry, for the sake of transparency, you guys said way back when in the offseason when you got Kirk and you got Penix that you were going after the Green Bay Packers model, that, you wanted to give Penix the time to develop. I don't want to speak for you or assume, but going off of that, ideally you probably didn't want to turn to Penix as early as you did this year. Is that safe to say? And along with that, when you guys had the discussions of going after Kirk and Penix, what was the ideal situation you guys wanted to happen? Was it Kirk to play a year, 2 years, and then transition? Just for the sake of the fans and the transparency of how you wanted this situation to be resolved.
Yeah, that's
a great question. Well, he said the same thing.
It's a great question. A lot of great thoughts. When we went into last offseason, and we had to fix the quarterback position. And so if you look at when we're making a decision at that time, we want to bring in a high-level quarterback that can help us to win right now. And you look at Kirk Cousins and what he had done prior to the injury. You look at his numbers and his production and the things he was, the decision-making, the accuracy, all those areas. We believe that he could be an effective quarterback for us right now. Again, when you give someone 2 years guaranteed, you want to get that level of production for 2 years. And we saw it in some games.
In other words, we gave him that 2-year guaranteed money with every intention of him being a starting quarterback for 2 years. I know it didn't work out how we wanted it to, but we're not complete and total idiots. We didn't give him 2 years fully guaranteed with the intention of him only starting 1 year. Then we bringing Penix in. No, we plan for Penix to sit those full 2 years, and we plan for Kirk to start those those full 2 years, and then pass the torch after the guaranteed money ran out.
This year, I mean, he broke a record on Thursday night, and so he did some really good things, and yet it wasn't sustained. But the mindset was, now that could fix the quarterback position for right now, but then in drafting the right player, then you can fix the quarterback position for the next 10 plus years. And if you look historically, first round quarterbacks, it's really hard for those guys. And when they have to play earlier and when they don't have to get the chance to sit.
You're right about that. When you look at it historically, man, like it's you have more failures than you have success stories of quarterbacks who start day one. Now we have had some good ones this year. You see Jaden Daniels, you see Bo Nix. But if you really go and look at the numbers, first round picks who start day one, they're way, 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 way more stories of failure than they are of success. And then you look at the quarterbacks who were taken in the first round or early in the draft, who had the opportunity to sit down behind a veteran, learn, develop, mentally mature. That's a big part nobody talks about, but mentally mature a little bit. The path to success, a little bit easier for them.
Behind not just anybody, but someone like Kirk Cousins, so they can learn all the nuances and the details of being a true pro. So having both of them in the building, we believe that truly could, for right now and for the future. And yet we understand that it was accelerated. The plan was for Kirk to play longer and for Mike to sit longer, and we had to accelerate that. So that wasn't the goal, but again, we understand the disappointment that we had to make the change when we did, but we're comfortable where we are at this point.
Terry, you've had a few years to reshape this Atlanta Falcons roster since you were hired in 21. What do you consider the most important milestones in this team's rebuilding process? How do you evaluate the progress in making this team a consistent NFC contender?
So you're asking, ask me one more time. I'm sorry. I'm kind of exactly what you want me to tell you.
So in short,
he stumped Terry on that one. Terry, ask it again and give me time to get my answer together.
What would you consider the most significant milestone in the rebuilding process thus far? And how do you evaluate your progress in making this team a more?
Got it. Yes, sir. Got it. Well, first of all, I'm going to be real clear that we haven't done a good enough job. I haven't done a good enough job.
Now, I respect that answer a whole lot. We haven't done a good enough job. I haven't done a good enough job. Hey, nobody likes when their team is losing, but no matter how you feel about the guys who are calling the shots, the head coach, the general manager, if you're being rational, you at least can appreciate when people take accountability, and he is taking accountability right here.
We haven't won enough. And so when you haven't won enough, it starts with me. That's my job, to make this team a consistent winner.
When you haven't won enough, that starts with me. I can appreciate that. Hate losing, hate being this perennial losing team. And I know sometimes some people be like, why are you saying we? You don't play on the team. You don't work for the Falcons. Like, yeah, of course not. But that's how fans talk about their team. They're just like, we connected. They're just saying I'm connected with the team. But yeah, you hate to lose, but you can at least somewhat appreciate, or at least I can. When people say everything, it starts with me. This is the general manager. It starts with me. I'm responsible for that. I got to be better. I got to do better. I need to do my job better. That means I got to get the Flowery Branch every morning at 6:30 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. I'm going to have to start doing that. If that means that I'm going to have to tell the wife, hey, babe, instead of lunch at 6, I'm sorry, instead of dinner at 6, we're going to have to push it back to 7 because I'm gonna be working some longer nights, in the office, upcoming season. Make some sacrifices. I can at least appreciate that.
And I haven't done a good enough job. It's my job to help everyone in the building be as effective as they can in their roles so we can win more games. We haven't done a good enough job of that. There clearly are things that we're proud of. You look at offensively and the percentage of, I want to say 70% of our offensive production have come from players below the age of 25. That's the best in the league. And so there's a lot of good things to point to. We always invest up front, and we invest in the offensive line, whether we're extending players, bringing players back, or drafting players, O-line, D-line. And so we know them in the trenches. So there's a lot of, we look at the vision of this team and what we want it to be. There are positives in a number of areas, but ultimately we haven't won enough. And that's what we have to do. So we have to look at every aspect of everything we're doing. Everybody has to take a humble approach because the most important stat is wins and losses. So we can point to anything positive that we want to. But at the end of the day, we have to win more games.
At the end of the day, we have to win more games. Everybody have to humble themselves. Hey, as far as that answer goes, I really like that answer a lot. I do appreciate that answer as a fan of this franchise. DB94, pardon me. Says Penix would have a breakout games too if he had a full season. Definitely. And we are super excited about Michael Penix, and we expect his second season that he's gonna have plenty breakout games. We're very hopeful of that, and I think a lot of us have that expectation. Seeing what he's done, the 3 games that he started this year. Actually, the last game against Carolina was kind of a little bit of a coming out party for him. A little bit, he had about 315 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 interception that wasn't his fault. Ray McLeod dropped the ball, but at the end of the day, it's going to go on his stat sheet. So it is what it is. Also, some people like PFF, some people don't care about PFF, but hey, they gave him a 95 score. That's an elite game score. So we are super excited about Michael Penix. And as I sat in the bins on Sunday, watching the game and watching Penix specifically, you could see the fan base. They were excited about Penix. He, when he took off running, he took off throwing these laser passes that got completed 30, 35 yards down the field, even though we kind of all knew in that stadium, well, we're not going to the playoffs. It was a little electricity around Michael Penix Jr. A lot of people were cheering him on, so we are very, very, very excited about him for sure, without a doubt. And hopefully, he got some big shoes to fill with Matt Ryan. Those are some real big shoes to fill. But hopefully he'll end up being the greatest quarterback in Falcons history. And if he can take Matt Ryan's crown from him and be the best, greatest quarterback in Falcons history, that probably means that, hey, you're probably going to get at least 1 Super Bowl out of that, so we'll see. Just hopefully he continues to progress and get better each and every year.
Acknowledging that you haven't done a good enough job, you haven't won enough. Are you concerned about your job security?
No, I'm not, Mark. I just don't think, and that's not coming from an arrogant place.
Ooh, are you worried about your job security? I like that question. Blunt and to the point.
Don't think about that. I don't think I believe my job is to come in every day and be as effective as I can. I don't think about my mortality or my job security and things like that and worry about. I worry more about doing the very best I can. I know it's an honor and a privilege to be in this role, and I just want to come in and do the very best I can to affect winning, and that's what I think about.
Again, 4 years.
A good way to answer it.
As a GM without that a playoff appearance typically.
Yep.
That's the only reason why I asked the question. Just wanted to-
Yep, I totally understand. I understand the question. Yep.
So hard getting out of the cap situation when it came to Matt Ryan. Now you're kind of there again with Kirk Cousins in a different way. I know you say you're comfortable, but I guess like how comfortable can you be when you know that you kind of have this cap money just sitting there and the issues that brings?
Well, that's what we planned for. You know, completely different situations, but I know Kirk's the backup now, but we plan to have that cap allocation at that position with him as the starter. And so now it's been flipped, and now he's the backup. And obviously, Mike is the starter now, but we believe we're going to get high-level quarterback play. So completely different situations, I would say, Allison, but we're comfortable where we are, and now we have to make sure that we can be creative and find ways to build this team the right way.
When he says completely different situations, I don't think he really wanted to go in much detail with that because it really isn't necessary. But two totally night and day situations with the Matt Ryan thing. We did set an NFL record for most dead cap, for I think one person 1 year with the Matt Ryan dead cap. Now, as she said, we see here with Kirk Cousins. The difference is Matt Ryan, you also had the Julio dead cap at that point. So we were stuck. We only had a certain amount of players that we could turn to and restructure a contract and open up free cap money, which they did. It still didn't do much. I think the next year we still only had about $8 or $11 million going into next year, and we still had to sign a bunch of players. This season is vastly different. You got young guys now who will, finish their contract with Atlanta, I'm sure, unless something totally unexpected happens. Chris Lindstrom, you can go to him and restructure that contract. Jesse Bates, you can go to him and restructure that contract. Those two moves alone, that'll give you $16 million of cap space. And see, those players are young enough and they're still playing at such a high level that you're not apprehensive about restructuring those deals because you expect them to continue to play at a high level the next 1 or 2 years of their contract, 3 years of their contract. So you don't really have that apprehensiveness like, we're going to end up stuck, so that's $16 million. You can actually do a Kyle Pitts trade. That'll give you $11 million in cap space. So the Falcons feasibly and easily, I say that in a delicate manner when I say easily, but they can be at $30+ million of cap space just with those 3 moves alone going into next season. So what I'm trying to say is the Falcons have a lot more flexibility going into this next season than they had that Matt Ryan dead cap year. There really wasn't any flexibility that season. You just had to ride that out. But we got a lot of options this time around. So they are totally different situations. And that's not even talking about guys that you could cut to free up more cap space if you felt you need to do that. Fan favorite Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata. There's a lot of things the Falcons can do this time. And then once you go through 2025 and once 2026 gets here, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, a lot of things can change, but we're going to be looking at about $90 million of projected cap space at that point in time. So it's vastly different than the Matt Ryan situation.
Terry, where do priorities fall when you begin to start thinking about how you make your defense more consistent, maybe more mirror what your offense does, and with that complementary football?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Arch, good question. So it starts with us, and that's what we're doing right now. We're going through every single position, and every single we'll evaluate everything. And part of it, Arch, is we have to develop players in the building. We have to make sure that we're doing that. So every player, we're getting the best version. They can get the best version of themselves. So we have to develop in the building, and then we'll have to look outside and look at the areas that we do have to enhance, whether it's free agency, whether it's the draft. We have to find those ways to continue to build that team to be more consistent.
Are you comfortable with the scheme that you guys ran defensively, or is that something that's under evaluation as well?
Yeah, we'll evaluate everything. You know, that's one of the coolest things. Y'all know that about Raheem, but he's such a humble person by nature. And so as we go through and have all these discussions, there's no defensiveness, and we're going to look at ways that we need to be more consistent in all areas. So we'll have all those discussions.
You know, so I know we had a good deal of fans that didn't like the 3-4 scheme. So he is at least, leaving the door open for the possibility of maybe bringing somebody in and running a totally different scheme, or Raheem himself maybe changing the scheme himself. But yeah, this defense, it got to improve. Offense, I'm very confident that the offense is going to be potent once again next season. As Terry has already stated, 70% of the production came from players under 25 years old. So this offense is prime and ready to rock in 25. Champagne Poppy, Drake London, young, Bijan, very young, Tyler Algier, still very young, Darnell Mooney. Hey, so we ready. And the offensive line is still relatively young also, even though they're getting up there a little bit in age, but they're still relatively young. Jake Matthews is really the only one I think is on the other side of 30 that is starting, and I'm pretty certain about that. I think Caleb is 29. I think Chris Lindstrom is a little bit younger. So the line itself is still relatively young also, but I do think Dahlman is a free agent, so they got to figure something out about that.
Those discussions, Terry, I mean, it's a weird time in sport in general, not just the NFL. You don't have results, people are getting fired left and right.
Yes.
What are the discussions within you, Raheem, Arthur, whoever may be involved in those about the statute of limitations, the leeway you get to find success in what time frame?
So how long is Arthur Blank giving you to find success before he fire your ass? That's what she just said.
Yeah. Again, that's a normal part of where you win enough games or don't win enough games. At this point, at the end of the season, you always have those discussions and you go through everything and determine, whether it's players, staff members, for everyone. We have all those discussions. That's just a normal part of the process.
Terry, you say, I understand your point about the cap allocation for the position, but one of the main benefits of having Penix on his rookie deal is saving the cap money. Considering that now you have a backup who's making a $20-something million. Considering that, do you think there's been an inefficient use of the cap resources?
Well, you go back again, totally understand the question, but then you go back to that point when we made the decision on signing Kirk Cousins. You can't guarantee you're getting a rookie quarterback. We're picking at 8, and so you can't guarantee you're going to get someone that's going to be ready to go in and play. And again, that's why we made that decision at that time. So all that said, this is where we are at this point. So what we have to do is look at areas that we can improve this team and work around whatever limitations we have.
I think this is the point Coach mentioned earlier in the broadcast when he was like, look, we picked at 8. We can't guarantee, we were going to get a rookie quarterback. Somebody could have jumped us, or the guy or guys that we had our eyes on, they could have ended up going. So he is alluding to that fact, like, look, no guarantee that we get a rookie quarterback, and being that free agency happens before the draft, we wanted to fill the void of the quarterback position when we had the money available and the opportunity to do so.
That's one area of focus that you'll have of improving the roster.
Absolutely. Again, we're just getting into all those discussions, but that's definitely going to be an area of focus.
Anything in particular? I know the pass rush was kind of weak again this year. It's been a long time problem around here.
Yeah, with the pass rush, we started off and we were last in the league first 9 games of the season, and then after the bye, significant jump in pass rush with we were second in the league and over that span following the bye, and specifically with Arnold Ebiketie. He was top 5 in sacks down the stretch. Caden Ellis had an unbelievable year, and he led the league in pass rush rate. And so we have pressure. We have pressure players. We have to add to.
I had no idea Caden Ellis led the league in pass rush rate. I had no idea.
That. So we showed ability, we showed improvement in that area, but that's definitely needs to be an area that we continue to improve.
I wanted to address the kicking situation with you this year.
Yeah.
I addressed it with Rod. Koo's drop-off was pretty precipitous from his.
Pretty precipitous. Come on, Zeno. Bro, come on. Precipitous. You couldn't find a more simpler word to use, man. This ain't this ain't college,
His previous production into this year, and I said to Rod that, if that was any other player who had dropped, had a 30% drop in production, they would be on the bench or cut. And Koo got to stick around. It cost you guys some games, in my opinion. Then you go out and get Riley Patterson, who struggled to make anything beyond 40 yards.
Yep.
I could sit here and tell you that might have cost you a playoff spot. I think fans would agree, but that's something we could part and parcel. But what is the situation now, and why did it take so long to move on from Koo? Or even if he was injured, why did it take so long to get him on IR? And then what was the process of finding Riley Patterson, a guy who clearly couldn't help you down the stretch when you needed him?
Yeah, Mark, I totally understand your frustration, and it's warranted. We missed 12 kicks, and we led the league in missed field goals, and it does. It's true. It affects games.
God damn. We led the league in missed field goals. God damn, man, bro. I didn't know that. I did not know that. We led the league in missed field goals. Like Zeno said, that probably cost your team a playoff spot, which really did. We make these kicks that we had the opportunity to make throughout the season that we should have made. We go to the playoffs. That's 2 more games just right off the top of my head that I know we win. And even if we only win those 2 games, that puts us in the playoffs. That's bad. That's bad. That is bad.
So it does. And in a game of inches, it really affects us. Once Koo was injured, we obviously put him on IR. And what it's our job to do is to make sure that we're fixing that this offseason. So we get into the season next year and we're not having the same conversation. That's our job. With Koo, I know him personally. He feels the same frustration that we all feel, and he's going to work hard to get himself back to the standard that he's been at for the majority of his career. And us as a staff, we have to make sure, number one, we're supporting him, but also we're bringing in at every position, we have to bring in competition and make sure that we're continuing to enhance those things. So I understand your frustration. It's warranted. We all have the same thing, and we have to fix that.
Frustration, I don't know if it's the right word. The process kind of is what I'm trying to understand is, again, like when the production wasn't there, if he was hurt, then he should have been on IR sooner, or there should have been a change made soon. Like it was obvious to everyone to see that the production fall off. So, is it in your hands to make that decision to either get him on IR or go in a different direction, or is that up to you and Ra? You do it together? How does that work?
Yeah, we do it together. We discuss everything we do throughout the day. We discuss it together with the coaches, with whoever's involved with it. We discuss those things. It's about doing everything we can do to win football games. Again, when a player's injured, is this something we can manage? Does he need to be on IR? All those things. Those are always ongoing discussions. Understand the frustration, disappointment, all those things, because it affects wins and losses. So we have to get it fixed.
Speaking of joy,
The Koo situation is very funny to me. Well, funny isn't the right word. It is very mysterious. Mysterious is probably a better word to use. The Koo thing is a very mysterious situation to me. And putting him on IR, let's start there. Unless something has changed that I'm not abreast of, they placed him on IR and they were very evasive about his injury. The last update that I saw on it, and y'all let me know in the comments if I'm missing something, because I possibly haven't seen any new updates, but they put him on IR a leg injury. With no specific diagnosis of the leg injury. Is it a pulled hamstring, a pulled tendon, high ankle sprain, low ankle sprain, ligament tear, just a leg injury. That's the last update I saw on it. Leg injury. There was nothing specific about it. And I know when Raheem Morris spoke on it, he wasn't real specific on when it happened. Did it happen the prior game before him going on IR, or is it something happened earlier in the year? They have been very evasive about the coup situation. Even Fontenot, who I gave credit for being accountable, he kind of was a little evasive on it too. And Mark Zeno, he sniffed that out too. And I'm going to give you a follow-up question because you really still have not answered my question directly, or you have not clarified the IR. When was he hurt? What's going on? When did y'all know he was injured? So I'm going to give you a follow-up question, and I'm going to spell out my question in more simpler terms for you to answer. And he still kind of danced around it also. The thing with Koo, the thing with Younghoe Koo, when we signed Koo, I think we signed him after the Matt Bryant era. If memory serves me correctly, 2020. And he came to Atlanta, and man, he was on fire his first year here. He made about 95% of his field goals the first year. The second year, he made about 93.1. About 93% of the field goals the second year. So those first 2 years here, he was exceptional. And they rewarded him for being excellent. They gave him a mega contract for a kicker. I think at the time he was a top 5 highest paid kicker in the league. Right now, he's still, I think, top 12 in the league, highest paid kicker. And he's been on that contract for a few years now. So that lets you know how much money he got paid. But after that, and this is something that really isn't talked about a lot. I know I mentioned it personally last year in our Atlanta Bird Game group, and man, they lit my ass up, boy. I'm talking about, boy, as the younger generation said, pause, but man, they tore my ass up when I went at Koo. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything else about it because boy, these people lit me up about it. But after that second season, it was evident to me that Koo was not the same top tier elite level kicker. The production went from the mid 90s in terms of his percentage of field goals that he made, and it dropped down to 86% the third season. And 86% isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but it's no longer top 5 highest paid kicker, is no longer elite level top kicker. It's almost like sometimes, a guy will play a certain way in a contract year, and then you pay his contract, then he falls off a little bit, and he spent the following 2 years at the 86% range in terms of field goals made. Now 2023, that's when some of my criticism started coming for Koo, because I remember that preseason he was missing kicks. Not this year, but the 2023 preseason. I remember him missing some kicks there. And then also that year, the regular season, Koo was only 3 out of 6 in field goal kicks, 50 plus yards. He was only 50%. 50% for kicks, 50 plus yards. He was 3 out of 6, only 50%. So the fall off of young Wei Koo started well before this season. It just got progressively worse in 2024. This has been a trickle down effect, starting in the 2022 season. So we've seen evidence that this was coming, and we finally saw it this year. And with them being like so evasive of what's wrong, it makes me wonder, like, yeah, I'm sure he's hurt. Is he injured reserve hurt? I don't know. Or did he just get the yips and they could no longer trust him? And to save the roster spot, they put him on injured reserve. Was it strategy behind that? I don't know. The start of this season, 2024, I think it was the Miami game. That preseason, he seemed like he missed every single field goal that game. And people was like, hey, man, it's just preseason. It's raining out there. I'm like, no, y'all. These are routine kicker. These are routine kicks for the kicker. Me personally, like, for every other position, for the most part, I'll tend to give a player some leeway for preseason play, a little leeway. Okay, I get it, preseason. Yeah. But for a kicker, that's their only job. That's their only job. They have a very unique and special skill set. And when you start to get more consistent and losing that unique and special skill set, it becomes alarming. In 2024, it all just came to a head with young Wei Koo with that skill set. So are we saying that he was injured preseason this year? Because he was missing a bunch of kicks then. And it just continued throughout the regular season. It's like when a pitcher loses his fastball, you're not gonna get it back. Well, that pitcher who used to consistently throw 95, 96, 97 mile per hour fastballs, and you lose it, you're not getting that fastball back. And I'm real concerned that Koo might have lost his fastball, y'all. I'm very, very concerned about that because it looks like this was just a this year issue, but it wasn't. This problem had been rearing its ugly head for a few years now, and it just came to a head this year, But we'll see.
Conversations. How much were you a part of the decision to move on from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix throughout the whole process?
Same thing. Those are discussions we have throughout the week as we get into Mondays and we close out that game. And then it's, okay, what do we need to do to win this next football game? And so we have all those discussions. And at the time that we did it, we believed at this time for us to be most effective and put us in position to win this football game, we have to make a change. So.
And he's pretty much saying, like, it wasn't just Raheem's decision solely to move away from Kirk Cousins. This is something that they decided amongst themselves, him, Raheem, offensive coordinator, and I said this on another live stream, but I'm sure somewhere down the line you had to get some kind of feedback from the guy that signed that $100 million check. And I know that was one of the burning criticisms of Raheem Morris this year was, hey, man, well, why did you play Michael Penix sooner, Raheem Morris? Offensive coordinator Zach Robinson told us that it wasn't solely a Raheem Morris decision. Now you got the general manager telling you it wasn't solely a Raheem Morris decision. Like Raheem, and I see a lot of people, when we criticize Morris, we'll compare Mike Tomlin. But you got to keep in mind, Mike Tomlin has what 20 plus years of equity and clout and a success rate built up with that organization. Raheem Morris doesn't have that kind of clout and equity built up within the Atlanta Falcons. So certain decisions, even though he is the head coach, but there are certain decisions that have to get signed off on. You need a majority rule. Now, your decision to call a timeout against Washington, that's a head coach's decision. You got sole decision on that. For the most part, you had that authority. Do you got the authority to sit $100 million guaranteed on the bench after 2 very bad games? Do you have that authority as a first-time head coach who hasn't won anything? Do you have that kind of authority? No, I don't think so. So, and I get everybody was criticizing Raheem, and rightfully so, because as fans, you got to throw your criticism at somebody, and who better than the head coach? But Raheem Morris had to see that through until everybody sat at the round table and said, "Look, we got to sit him down. It's time to sit him down." That's a lot of money being paid for one player. So we got to come to the table, and we got to come to the table as a collective and say, okay, it's now time to sit him down. We can scream till we're blue in the face. Oh, he should have benched him. He should have benched him. He should have benched him. He didn't have that kind of authority, y'all. He didn't. He didn't have that kind of authority. And you got the general manager saying it, and the offensive coordinator has already said it as well. But let's keep going.
This was your first year working with a whole new staff. What was that like?
I would say, look, at the end of the day, we didn't win enough games, Taryn, so we're all disappointed, and we have to look at a lot of different areas. But I would say we have a very collaborative staff. Raheem sets that tone in the right way, and I'm excited about attacking this offseason with Raheem and doing everything we can do to make whatever adjustments we need to make to get this team where it needs to be.
You have a franchise low of 4 draft picks this year, just 5. How does that just kind of the pressure on you guys, especially with not many draft picks, but still trying to rebuild?
Yeah, Allison, we can pick up some draft picks. So since we're picking at 15, so obviously we can move down and pick up more capital in the first or the second round or wherever that is. And so we'll have those discussions and determine. We just have to make sure that we're as effective, whether it's the draft, free agency, extensions, everything that we're doing, we have to be effective with each one of those moves so we can put this team in position to win.
Sorry, you guys added Judon and Simmons.
Yep.
Kind of late in the process in August. Were you happy with those acquisitions and what they produced this season?
Yeah, Mark. When you do that, when you add players at that point in their career, and then we're looking at, for us to make those decisions, we're saying, okay, we're in position to win the division and to make a run in the playoffs. And the fact that we're not in the playoffs, then we're not happy with the results of those decisions. That's just not.
Oh damn. God damn. Oh man. So dog, like I'm reading this, right? I'm reading what he said based on the question. It's like the question I was almost was asking him, like, are you guys happy or satisfied with signing Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon? And he pretty much like, nah, we not. They were not good signings. We're not happy about them. We don't feel like we got our money worth from those guys. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have signed either one of them. That's how I'm reading this. Maybe he'll kind of clarify what he's saying right here. So let me keep going.
Natural. That's not saying anything against either one of those players specifically, Matt or Justin, or anything. I'm not saying anything negative about the coaching staff or anything, but when you make those decisions, we believe that's going to be a tipping point for us, and it wasn't.
Just the results, how would you just assess Raheem Morris's first year as head coach with all the different things going on this season?
Yeah.
Ooh, how would you grade Raheem Morris's first year as a head coach with everything going on? Naturally, he's not going to throw Raheem under the bus, because they got to work together this coming season. So let's see how this answer gets dressed up by Fontenot.
Yeah, look, Raheem's a special person. He's a special coach. I can sit here and talk about all the positives regarding Raheem. He said on Monday And I said at the start of this press conference, we're all disappointed in the results of the season. So very, very excited to attack this offseason with Raheem and make sure we get right.
We've heard from him and you that everything's under evaluation. What specifically have you guys kind of found out throughout that process? Like, hey, we're going to do this differently when we approach draft or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we're just getting into it. You know, the season ended. We've had a few days here, and so we're just really getting into those discussions. You know, as the season ends, you have those exit meetings, and you go through all those things, but we really got to take our time and be thorough going through everything. So we're just not at that point yet.
Looking back at the season, is there anything you can pinpoint, like, okay, hindsight 2020 would have done, would approach this maybe?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of things when you look at it. You know.
He like, hell yeah. That's a lot of shit I would have did differently in hindsight. I wouldn't have signed Kirk Cousins' old ass all that goddamn money for 14 games. I would have did that. I wouldn't have brought Judon, washed up ass here, and shit. I would have let somebody else get Justin Simmons $9 million. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff I would have did differently.
We didn't get the result that we want in the season, but we really have to take our time and go through that and be thorough and make sure that we're looking at all the right areas.
Terry, given all of the expectations, obviously, for this year.
You're trying, Josh. You keep opening your mouth. They keep interrupting you. I'm joking, Maria. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Given obviously high expectations around this team, you signed Kirk Cousins, all these things, there's a lot of excitement, expectation to make the playoffs. How would you weigh heading into this offseason for you as a GM the challenges that lie ahead to making those changes to become a winning team?
Yeah, there's we have to do it, because there's so many areas that we feel good about, so many positives, but at the end of the day, there's one stat that matters: the wins and losses. So we have to figure out those specific things that we need to do differently, and it's critical. It's a critical off season for all of us, for everyone, every individual that's a part of this business. And we understand that I can sit here and say whatever I want. The words really don't mean anything. We have to speak with our results.
And I know you're in the infancy of these conversations, especially when it comes to the coaching staff, but how much do you anticipate there being any sort of change within the coaching?
We just have to, again, we're in those conversations. That's a normal part of
In other words, is Jimmy Lake coming back?
the process where you win a lot or lose a lot. That's just a normal part of it, and we're right in the midst of those conversations.
He gave a political answer. We're still evaluating day to day. Blah 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 blah. So he didn't say yes or no, but I don't think that's a good sign for Lake because there has not been any verbal commitment to him, like there of course has been to Raheem Morris, who obviously will be back. And if anybody gets let go, it obviously will be the defense coordinator. The defense, for lack of better words, was pretty terrible this year. The offense and the offensive coordinator, not so much.
Terry, to go back enough out of your draft
No.
picks.
Terry, to go back to
I'm sorry.
Not enough out of your draft picks that you've been here.
We haven't won enough, right, Mark? So if you haven't won enough games, then I would say we have to look at everything that we're doing, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency. Everything we're doing is not good enough if we haven't won enough. Now, I have a lot of confidence in our process. We assess everything as we go. We assess every single move, and we adjust the process as we need to. We're very reflective in that sense, and that's the after action. That's a normal part of it. So I have a lot of confidence in Kyle Smith runs that. He's our assistant GM, and Tom Bowie.
So Kyle Smith seems like he's the head of the talent scouting department. Kyle Smith, the GM just said, hey, he runs that. So glad to know that. I didn't know the name of the person in charge of the scouting part of the Falcons, but now I do.
Was our college director. I have a lot of confidence in our process. We're very collaborative, the way we work with the coaches and analytics and all those things. We constantly look at everything. And that said, Mark, we haven't won enough games, so we have to improve in every area.
Terry, to go back to signing Kirk and that decision, was his health and his status coming off the Achilles injury more of a burden than you anticipated?
Oh, here we go. Let's get it.
No, he was healthy, and I think you guys asked Kirk that question too whenever about the being benched, and we know that him being taken out, but he wasn't injured. He was healthy, so It was just the play just wasn't there.
When you
Man, he was healthy. And then he kind of doubled down on him being healthy. Said, hey, you guys asked Kurt the same question, and he told you he was healthy. It wasn't his health, it was his play. So this has been a real point of contention amongst, the fan base and, people like me who talk, Falcons football, whether or not Kirk Cousins was healthy. So General Manager Terry Fontenot, he made a point to say it about 3 times in a very short statement saying he was healthy. He wasn't hurt. He was healthy. So the general manager saying he was healthy, and he also reverted back to Kirk Cousins himself telling you he was healthy. His play just fell off. Shout out to John at the iTest. Y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to the iTest here on YouTube. Puts out some excellent content. John and Winston, they go on every Wednesday at 10 p.m. So make sure that you subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you are always notified when they do go live. John says Fontenot is standing on the story that Cousins was completely healthy. So what the hell happened? Great statement, question, John. Fontenot is saying it was his play just fell off. For lack of better words, he's just saying his play fell off. That's what he is saying. From our general manager, he was healthy. He wasn't hurt. He just didn't play well. Got A1 Felv in the building. Also, y'all make sure to check out A1 here on YouTube as well. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe to him also. Puts out a lot of excellent content. Has a great Mike Conti interview that he did about 2 or 3 days ago. I viewed it. Make sure that you go check it out as well and hit the like button. He says, I don't feel like Kurt was hurt. His play just fell off a cliff. So A1 is like, hey, man, I feel the same way. I don't think he was hurt. I just feel like he fell off a cliff. He just lack of better words. Hey, man, he just was sorry. He gave us a good month and a half, 2 months. And after that, he just started to suck. And that's what Terry is saying also. Terry is saying that the same thing as well. Lisa says, do we believe that he was healthy, Todd? His arm streak didn't seem to be there. Did our eyes deceive us? That's a great question, Lisa. I will say it looked to me that at one point he lost a lot of velocity on his ball. And he just wasn't putting the same amount of oomph on his throws that he did earlier this year. I wouldn't have been surprised if it came out that he was hurt. But it's been it's getting almost close to a week since our last regular season game, and general managers doubled down on him being healthy. Nothing has came out from Kirk Cousins camp saying he was hurt. So maybe he was healthy. Maybe it was just a matter of him falling off a cliff. I'll revert back to the interview that I did on this channel with Quincy Carter. And he said before the season even started, like he had concerns on whether or not Kurt would be able to endure the grind of an NFL season. And he also mentioned one thing about quarterbacks. He referred to it as us, being a former NFL quarterback himself. But he's like, one thing about us, man, is our legs. And I hope I'm quoting him close enough to be accurate, but he was saying that our legs tend to start going out on us at a certain part of the season. And, he was very, very concerned that he didn't think Kirk Cousins at his age coming off that surgery would be able to finish the season at a competitive level. And he expressed that to me before the season even started. And looks like he was right. So I don't know. Maybe that grind did catch up with him. But everybody is saying that he was healthy. So until we get something concrete that's saying he wasn't, I guess that's the premise we got to go off of. He was healthy. It was just his play that fell off.
You evaluate his performance after the 6-3 start, and he was playing pretty well to that point, and then the drop off. How do you make sense of how that happened with a player like him who's had that track record for so long?
Again, it's tough, and that's a when we saw some really good things from him, and then it just dropped to a point to where again we had to make that change. So nobody's happy about that. We're all disappointed. Again, as we go through our off-season process, we'll look at everything.
So
we saw some good things from him, and then it got to a point it just dropped off, and we had to make a change. So it sounds like he's saying he just fell off a cliff, and we had to bench him.
Just to be clear, you don't think the Achilles injury played a part in his performance this season?
No, he was healthy.
Damn. Hey man, we might need to remix that. No, he was healthy. He was healthy. I mean, Terry is making a point. This is called somebody making a conscious effort to put out a relaying message or a statement that's going to resonate. He's being very purposely deliberate to say Kirk Cousins was healthy. He wasn't hurt. We can kill that narrative. He was healthy. I'm sitting here telling you, as the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins was healthy. So that should be the narrative being told and spun from this point forward. He was healthy.
Going through something like this with a player that suddenly just dropped off like this, is there anything that you've learned maybe that you need to really look at or research more about a player before you sign him to such a big contract?
I think, Alice, just like everything, any transaction we make, every single thing that we do, we have to always look at it and be reflective, look at the reasons we made the decision, all the factors that were involved with them. We always have to look at everything, not just that decision, but whatever decision that we make.
Terry, looking ahead, Bijan touched the ball, I think, 300 and something, almost 370 times.
Yeah.
1,900 yards. I mean, unbelievable. How much do you guys now, as you go into this offseason, start evaluating his workload and trying to balance him? I know Tyler's a tremendous backup, but how do you go about doing something like that to make sure he's that guy again for you next year?
Yeah, Bijan's unbelievable. Like you said, to touch the ball that many times, and we're really intentional with his during the week workload and the management of him, and he was fresh throughout the whole year. You talked about all those touches. He didn't put the ball on the ground once, and he's a special player. We already have those discussions of what his offseason looks like and how we manage him through the offseason, so he's continuing to develop, but also we're taking care of him. The way he takes care of his body is exceptional. He's a special player, but an even better young man. But that's something that we're going to have to always continue to look at.
Terry, what do you make of Kyle Pitts' trajectory the last 2 years?
Here we go.
Yeah, look, when you take a player that high in the draft, obviously you expect a certain level, and we understand Kyle had a really good rookie year, and he hadn't equaled or exceeded that production since then. And so there's no excuses we're making about it. And yet right now, at this point, just like any other player, Kyle has to do everything he can do to make sure he's doing everything he can do this offseason to get the best version of himself. We have to make sure we're supporting him and helping him develop in those areas, and make sure we're doing everything to get the best out of him so he can help this team win football games.
So it sounds like he's saying, yeah, we drafted him at 4. We made history, the highest drafted tight end in NFL history, and thus far he has not lived up to expectations. That's what I got. That's what I sense coming from the answer that Mr. Fontenot just gave. He has not lived up to expectations. We'll try to do a better job of supporting him to get him to the level we want him at. And also, he did make a point here to say, you know what, we got to do our part, but Kyle got to do his part too. He gave some responsibility on himself and the team, and he also made a point to give some responsibility to Kyle Pitts himself. You know, he got to want to be that dog himself also. We only can do so much. He got to do the rest of it.
That's what's most important right now.
Terry, I know you said you're comfortable with Kirk as a backup, but financially, you can't be comfortable with spending $100 million on a guy who doesn't see the field. I mean, especially in an environment where there's an allocation for a cap that you have to stay under.
Yep.
You know, if you were investing in two businesses and you put 90% in one and 10% in the other, and the 90% fails, you can't be comfortable with that. Like, I understand you using the word because you knew what the money cost, but saying you're comfortable with that sort of is counterintuitive.
Got it. So is there you asking a question, Mark?
So I think
Okay, Zeno, like, yeah, we know you're the smartest guy in the room. You know, we understand you're the smartest guy in the room, Zeno, but where's your question at? Like, you know, are we gonna get a question, or are you just gonna, you know, you want to come stand next to me and help me finish the press conference, sir?
That's a fair point. Very well done. If you're comfortable with it, I guess what I'm saying here is, how are you comfortable with leaving a cap allocation of that nature that doesn't give you production on the field?
So you're asking why when I say comfortable, that's just that was the plan initially. He was supposed to be a starter.
Right.
That was the plan. We had to pivot. So I understand it's not ideal to have a backup taking up that much. I totally understand that. But where we have to make a decision, if you're going to release the player, keep the player, that's what I'm saying. So we're comfortable keeping him on the roster as opposed to releasing him.
Was there any validity
Good way to clarify your meaning.
to the reports that came in earlier that you guys had?
No.
No validity whatsoever.
And you're talking about the reports about releasing
You
him.
were going to cut him.
Correct.
So Terry Fontenot is going on record refuting the reports that came out last month that the Falcons were planning on releasing Kirk. You know, I do remember those reports coming out, and he's refuting those reports here. You know, so he said, hey, that stuff wasn't true.
Those are not valid. Correct.
Are you surprised, you know, just in the 4 years, just how hard it's been to put together winning seasons as a GM? Like, did you think coming into it it'd be a little bit easier?
It's hard to, Allison, look, it's hard to win this league. We know that. It's challenging, and yet we have to figure it out. And it's that simple. We have to figure out how to put this team in position to win games. Our words don't mean anything. We have to speak with our results, and it's about putting in the work right now to get to that point.
I'm glad Terry keeps repeating that. Words don't mean anything. You know, we got to put in the results. We got to start winning. So I'm glad to hear he keeps repeating that, because that is so true. Dr. Slicknuts, I always laugh when I see your name. Says Zeno more interested in being petty than anything. Hey man, I 2000% agree with you on that. That's just Zeno. That's just who he is. You know, I'm not saying this, but some people would say he's a prick. And you know, he seems to have that smartest guy in the room demeanor, you know. But I do agree with you here. You know, he's just more interested in being petty than anything. And that's why Terry was like, okay, well, where is your question? Zeno just wants people after the press conference. Yeah, Zeno, man, you really got on Terry, man. Boy, you asked all the tough questions. You asked the stuff, you know, that you're supposed to ask, and you didn't let him off the hook. Yeah. Like Zeno just want people to pat him on the back. Yeah, man. You stumped Terry, man. He didn't know what to say. That, you know, that's what Zeno, I think, a lot of times comes to these interviews to do. You know, sometimes he asks, you know, good questions, but I for the most part, Slick Nuts, I agree with you, man. Zeno just be want to be petty and for people to pat him on the back. You know, that's the vibe I get from Zeno a lot.
Terry, as the playoff landscape kind of took shape, we got 4 teams from the NFC that are first time or coming back in, and Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and Detroit returning. What can you learn from these playoff teams and how they were built and how they proceeded through the season?
Yeah, Leg, good question. And look, we have to study all those things. And as we get into, we start off internal, we study ourselves and figure out the plan and blueprints to get to where we need to. But not only the teams that the overall studying the teams, but specific defenses and what they're doing and how effective they are and specific schemes. And we study all those things. So we'll study those teams that have been really effective and do our best to learn and help us make decisions here.
When you look at the young talent on the roster, do you feel like there's a greater sense of urgency to maximize those rookie contracts on them?
Yeah, that's a critical part of this. Look, and when as we go through meetings on our entire roster and all our players, a part of that is we're making decisions on players' futures in terms of whether you're under contract, not under contract. We're making all those decisions and figuring that out. But also we're going through what the development plans are, whether it's a older player and what's the maintenance plan, how we're going to get the most out of them, or whether it's a younger player and how we're going to develop this player and help them to continue to improve. So that's a critical part of it. Not just going out and bringing players in that are going to help us win, but also getting the most out of the players here and make sure we have the right development plan for them. So everything we do all this offseason is intentional and it's helping us get closer to winning games.
Yeah, because you definitely want to get to the playoffs and have some playoff success while you got some of your better players on their rookie contracts. So she asked an excellent question by stating that.
Time for one more.
Yeah, Terry, given that many of the fans may feel disappointed with the team's overall performance this season, what's your message to them heading into the 2025 season?
The message is we understand that that we let them down and we didn't do enough this year, and it's disappointing. We're all disappointed. We know they deserve better. But again, there's no words that I can say right now. It's all about the results, and that's what we have to speak with our results.
Yeah, I just had to ask him about the calendar moving forward.
Yeah.
You got the CFO coming up. Can you review some of the key points here as you move into the off season, January, February, and March, of course, April?
Kind of our calendar in terms of what.
Moving forward as you all are trying to get things going.
So right now, Led, we're focused on the roster. Like I said, we're having all our discussions, but we're focused on the roster. At the end of next week, we'll sit down and go through our 360 meetings on every player on the roster, and that's really the start of, okay, these are the areas, these are the plans for each specific player, but then also these are the specific needs at every position, and that's the start of it. So now as we get into free agency and get into the draft, and this is the first step in determining specifically what those needs are and where those areas that we need to focus in. So it's all internal right now, and we'll continue to progress through the offseason. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, man.
Well, that's it, y'all. Also, I just noticed the Falcon isn't matching. You got red and black here, and you got black and white here. You know, they should have done a better job of color coordinating. That's me being petty by saying that. But that's it, y'all. That's your general manager, Terry Fontenot, addressing the media, addressing the Falcons fans after the disappointing season by our Atlanta Falcons. That again was Fontenot. What do y'all think? Before we wrap up, again, I think Terry Fontenot read the room of the fan base. And when I'll repeat this, what I said earlier. What I mean by that is he understands, like, look, at this point, like, listen, man, yeah, we get it. You know, you speak well, you're super articulate, obviously very intelligent. But we need y'all to goddamn win. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gonna talk to us and we gonna be like, you know, only thing that really mattered at this point, win. And he realizes that, and him taking accountability on it multiple times, saying it's my responsibility, it's on me. I gotta be better, I gotta do better, I gotta be a better leader, I gotta draft better. You know, that part of it I do respect. I at least appreciate him taking that route, because not everybody is willing to take accountability. You know, some people will look at that as, well, you know, that give the owner more reason to fire me whenever he get an opportunity, because I'm kind of admitting that I hadn't did a good job. But I love the honesty and I love the accountability piece. There were certain questions that he tap danced around and he didn't exactly give a clear and concise and direct answer during certain questions. Was also some things that he just said, we're going to keep that internal. We're not going to divulge that information. That's something that we're going to keep between us. All in all, press conference for me is good to hear from the general manager, because I don't hear from him very often until the season is over. So I like to hear his quote unquote insight, the how he feels the direction of the team needs to be. So I do appreciate that. I have not listened to Raheem Morris's press conference from Monday. I always tell y'all with me in press conferences, I'm not too big on him, but I like to hear Terry talk because he don't talk very often. So I'll be interested to hear what he says. I will say this. Dr. Slickness is good outside. Yeah, they didn't even match the Falcon, man. Like, come on, man. Come on with that. Mr. Clean says, I love those blue headphones. Keep pounding. Yeah, that's a double Antrande, however you say that. You obviously a Carolina Panthers fan, but I do appreciate that, man. Thank you. Jada says, this team is so vanilla. If we don't fire anyone, someone has to go. I'm tired of the vanilla shit. Blank needs to stop being so vanilla. Fire Rich McKay or something, bro. I don't think McKay going anywhere, man. I really don't. I think his relationship with Blank is probably deeper than just this team. So I don't see him going anywhere at all. Georgia Texas boy said, this is Morris, Terry, and Beetle show. Greg Beetle. Yeah, but what I'm gonna say, man, one thing about this is this press conference normally, the end of the season press conference, and maybe we'll see it later, but normally you see Arthur Blank. Normally you see Rich McKay. They both were visibly not there, but normally they're there talking. Normally Arthur Blank, Arthur Blank, Arthur Blank likes to comfort his fans. Excuse me. He likes to try to soothe his fans. He likes to try to be the problem solver. Okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. And that probably comes a lot from his background in retail. Started Home Depot, retail. He used to be in the trenches dealing with the public day to day. Hey, Mr. Blank, this hammer didn't work. These nails didn't work. Let me fix that for you, sir. We'll give you a new hammer, and my apologies. Here's a $25 gift certificate along with the new hammer for our mistake. I do apologize to you for that. We take pride and making sure that we're delivering the best products and the best materials to our customers. No one is bigger than our customers, and it's very important that you understand how important you are to us. And I do see on your account here that you've been shopping at this Home Depot for the last 8 years, and I don't take that for granted, and I never will take that for granted. Blake spent a lot of years doing that, saying that, so it comes off in now his team that he owns. He was a retail guy. Anybody has ever worked retail, normally the customer is always right in retail. That's just how the retail goes, because you need the customer to stay in business and everybody get paid. But Blake isn't here, and that lets me know. I remember last year, right? Well, this is gonna coincide with the Arthur Blank thing. I'm gonna surprise y'all. Those of you who have been watching, that I don't think Raheem Morris should be fired after just one season. I've said that multiple times now, this show and also other shows. I don't think it should be fired. That's my opinion, and I do understand that a lot of people don't feel that way. And if you don't, I do respect your opinion, but that's my opinion. I don't think it should be fired. Terry Fontenot, here's where I'm going to surprise some of y'all at. Terry Fontenot On the surface, I think Terry Fontenot should be fired. On the surface, I think he should be fired. On the surface, he has been here 4 years, and he's had 4 consecutive top 8 draft picks, and the most games he's won in the season has been 8 games. No winning seasons under Fontenot, no playoff appearances under Fontenot. And to me, 4 years is more than enough time to turn the franchise around. On the surface, I think Fontenot should be fired. And the reason I keep saying on the surface, because the Atlanta Falcons situation is so convoluted, going back to Arthur Blank and Rich McKay. Based on Arthur Blank and Rich McKay's based on their own words and their own confessions, prior to this season, Terry Fontenot wasn't a traditional general manager. He was more of a general manager in training. He was more of Rich McKay's protege, while McKay played the role of the mentor. And they let us know, well, you know what, 2024, Rich McKay's getting out the way. Terry Fontenot about to run this show, y'all. They let us know that going into this season. And we saw last year, Terry Fontenot again, he ran the press conference. Y'all remember last year after Arthur Blank got his ass whooped by the media, Terry Fontenot came up there and he ran the entire press conference. Today, Terry Fontenot ran the entire press conference. And y'all know normally Blank and McKay would have been there. That's just how they roll. So it really seems to me that after 2023, they got out the way. All right, Terry, you got general manager's power. Good luck. Do your thing. Your destiny lies in your hand. So that's why I'm saying on the surface, because it appears based on what Dave said and based on the images that this franchise was putting out, this was his first year with normal general manager duties, powers, and responsibilities with a new coach. So it's almost like it was year one in a sense. Keywords in a sense. So that's why I say he should be fired on the surface. But being that he went calling all the shots like a more traditional general manager would, is probably why he's still here. Arthur Blank is giving him that, like, okay, you know, we was overseeing a lot of the shit before this year. So you know what? We'll give you another year. Now, I will tell y'all this. Again, on the surface, I think Fontenot should be fired, but I understand why he's not, which I just explained. But I'm going to tell you this. If they don't get this shit right, the 2025 season, I can assure you, if they come back with a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 win season, Terry is gone, and they will be fired either on Black Monday or before Black Monday of next year. This same time next year, Terry is gone, Raheem is gone. So Blank is giving them 2 full seasons of y'all having complete autonomy for the most part to get this team in the playoffs and be somewhat of a contender. No, you ain't necessarily got to get to the NFC title game, but hey, man, get in the playoffs, win a playoff game. If they can't do that next year, Fontenot is out of here, Raheem Morris is out of here, and then Arthur Blank gonna hire a brand new general manager and a brand new head coach. You know, so that's why Fontenot is still here, and Raheem Morris shouldn't be fired regardless. You know, so but that's where I see the job stability and the security yet right now. Everything is going to be based on what happens in 2025. If Morris and Fontenot can't get it done, they both will be fired, and then we'll bring on another GM and a head coach at the same time, and that way they can be judged at the same time as well. they'll bring another one in here and we'll start the process all over again, you know. But you know, I think they do get a lot of points, as a lot of y'all mentioned in the comments with the Michael Penix draft pick. You know, if Penix ends up being what we need him to be, then you know, you may have a long-term general manager in Fontenot like you saw with Dimitrov. And I know a big point of conversation has been this is Fontenot doesn't have a new contract, and I guess we could put that to bed now. Terry's not getting fired, so if he didn't have a contract at the end of the regular season, I'm sure he probably got one now, or he's getting ready to sign one now. Because I'm pretty sure he will be back. They're not gonna fire him. That's obvious. Arthur Blank. One thing I do have figured out about Arthur Blank, he's not finna let Fontenot come in here and do all this talking about the future of the franchise, and he knows he's gonna fire him. Arthur don't operate like that. He don't operate like that. So he's gonna give them enough time. Yeah, y'all all right? I'm still out the way. Arthur Blank, like, hey man, I'm still out the way, bro. I'm out the way. You know, I'm on this yacht. I'm traveling. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing. Y'all don't get it right, I'm gonna come find everybody, damn ass. All y'all gonna go. So do your thing. As you see, I spend money, but y'all don't get this show right, y'all out of here. You know, it's just as simple as that. So they got to start off next year also winning. You can't start off slow. You can't start off 1-4. You can't start off 2-5. You can't start off 3-7. None of that bullshit. Because then he might just go ahead and pull the plug then. And if we start off like 3-7, 2-6, some shit like that, I think it would be warranted. You need to start your season off good. Start off 3-1, 5-2. You know what I'm saying? 7-3. You know, 8-3. Start off good. Start off 3-0. Start off 4-0. You know, give these fans and also your bosses the confidence that they need in you. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, man, I really appreciate y'all coming in. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate y'all conversing with me and all that. But we've already hit 2 hours, 2+ hours, that I didn't think it would go this long for only a 30-minute video. And that's my fault, running my big mouth. But again, I thank y'all. I appreciate it, man. Today is Thursday. We might be back tomorrow night for the Waffle House. We'll see. If so, I'll put it on the channel. And then y'all come back and check us out tomorrow. But until then, man, I'll see y'all soon. God bless y'all. Be good. Gone.